Hey everyone. You know, even though I didn't get to watch the pay-per-view last night, I've been reading a lot of the results that have been posted lately. People talking about it, and I have to say that I want to give basically my thoughts on it, on why certain things took place last night the way they did. Now, first of all, we start with the Intercontinental title match, Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler. For what many people have said, and I have yet to see this, but I will, because I will download the pay-per-view. They said it was a great match, great opener. I believe it, because I saw how good the match was at Night of Champions. But overall, as they said, great opener, great match. And which has Rey ended up winning the match and retaining the Intercontinental Championship. Let me give you my thoughts on this. You see, the reason I think Rey was allowed to retain the Intercontinental Championship was for a reason. And that reason is next month. WWE Breaking Point. And what does Breaking Point have to do with Rey retaining? I'll get into that in just a little bit as I run down the other matches. The next match of the night, MVP versus Jack Swagger. As expected, as I predicted, MVP wins the match. 6-minute match, MVP does win, Jack Swagger loses cleanly. Now what does this do for Jack Swagger? Well, in some cases it might build someone like Jack Swagger up, but then again it might not. I've got a feeling the next person MVP will be feuding with will be The Miz, because both, I think even along with Jack Swagger, are going to be put into a U.S. title mix real soon. Now, the third match of the night. I think it was, Crime Time versus Jericho and Big Show for the unified titles. 11-minute match from what people have said, and I guess some people have said an impressive showing by Crime Time, but as we expected, as we all guessed, Jericho and Big Show retained the tag team titles. The reason they retained the tag team titles is for a reason. Big Show and Jericho are being described as the team with a combined 43 titles between them. Sort of, kind of like a rip-off, if you will, of the Main Event Mafia saying they have these 70 titles between them. Anyway, Jericho and Big Show do retain. The reason for this is because, as I mentioned before, I think WWE notices how the tag team titles are being dipped, how the tag team titles are always being mistreated, disrespected, how fans have noticed that, how critics of wrestling have noticed that, and have realized that the only way they're going to build up the reputation of the tag team titles, make them as important as they used to be, if not more so, is to put them on someone like Chris Jericho and the Big Show. That's how they're going to do it. I mean, it started out with Edge and Jericho, didn't last because Edge got injured, put it on Big Show. Basically, it's to build the tag team titles up. That's why they retained last night and Crime Time didn't win. Simple as that. And then we have Kane versus the Great Khali. Typical big man match. Kane does win after DDTing the Great Khali after distraction. I'm not surprised by this, but I will say this. I've got a feeling they might try to build Kane up just a little bit more again and might have him going after a championship real soon. Is it the Intercontinental or the World title? We'll find out soon. But I think this is possibly just a step in the right direction to try to probably get Kane back on that monster main event level. Then, DX versus Legacy. As I mentioned in my preview, I think I mentioned this in my predictions, I said that this could be a good match, and from what people have said it was, for 20 minutes it was a very good match. Legacy showed that they could definitely hang with DX, but in the end, DX, thanks to Shawn Michaels and Sweet Chin Music, do win the match. Now, something's going to come out of this match tonight or next couple of weeks. Why? Well, that's all I'll get into in just a little bit. Now, the next match. Very quick ECW title match. Christian versus William Regal. As soon as Regal gets in the ring, Christian attacks him. Bell rings, hits the kill switch, /I'm prettier, wins the match. Christian retains the ECW championship. No big deal there. Then, I think it's the WWE Championship match, I believe. Yeah, the WWE Championship match. John Cena versus Randy Orton. Some like Spitternet, and I'm even sure J-Dub and RHS Styles and many others have said this is probably one of the most bizarre WWE title matches they've seen in a long time. Why? Well, because storyline-wise, we had Vince McMahon have the match restarted every time Randy Orton tried to get himself disqualified and counted out. He basically had the match restarted because storyline-wise, as we know, Vince McMahon wants to get the WWE Championship, this title, off of Randy Orton. That's what he wants to do. But Randy Orton does win the match, believe it or not. He does win after hitting something like a slingshot or hot shot RKO on the outside on the middle rope, and then going inside and hitting an actual RKO on John Cena to win the match. So, what does this have to do with Breaking Point? I'll get into that in just a bit. Then the final match, the TLC match for the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy. Phenomenal match from what people have said. I do believe it because I saw these guys work on the previous two pay-per-views. Unbelievable match from what they said. And Jeff Hardy's high spot was doing a swanton off a tall ladder onto CM Punk onto an announce table. But CM Punk, believe it or not, does win the match and once again becomes World Heavyweight Champion, making him a 3-time World Champion now, I think. But then the lights go out. Lights come back, you hear a gong, lights come back on, and in Jeff Hardy's place where he's laying down is The Undertaker. Undertaker gets up, basically surprises CM Punk, chokeslams him, ends the show, which basically tells me we're going to have a Taker-Punk feud going into next month. Now, what does this have to do with Breaking Point? Well, the matches I mentioned that have to do with Breaking Point, like Rey Mysterio and Dolph Ziggler, they're going to have one more match. No doubt about it. They're going to have one more match. But since Breaking Point is being described as a submission-only pay-per-view, that's right, every match a submission match, it basically tells me that Dolph Ziggler next month will be the Intercontinental Champion because he's going to debut a new submission hold and it's going to guarantee him the Intercontinental title. I'm not saying that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised. And the same thing can go with the WWE Championship match. In fact, all 3 championship matches, which unbelievably were 3 main events, well, the last 3 matches, I should say, all 3 of these matches are going to be focused around Breaking Point next month. I mean, Regal will get another shot at Christian, there's no doubt about it, because Regal's got the Regal stretch, and Christian doesn't have no real submission, so Regal might get the ECW title next month. Same thing with John Cena and the WWE title. John Cena has the STFU, if you will, and Randy Orton has no submission. So, there you go. And then you have The Undertaker versus CM Punk, which is obviously going to happen. And of course CM Punk has the Anaconda Vice, but he has not used that in a while. And The Undertaker has the Hell's Gate, the Triangle Chokehold. So, one way or another, we're going to have a great submission match between those two. But as I mentioned, with the other championships, don't be surprised if they change hands next month, because that's what WWE has typically done before in the past, if you remember. They come up with a pay-per-view, something like gimmick pay-per-view, like, Breaking Point coming up, and the gimmick pay-per-view always works in changing championships around. So don't be surprised if that's what happens. But that's all I have to say on my thoughts on SummerSlam last night, even though I didn't see it. It's just my thoughts and from what I've heard from many fans that have seen it, and I will say this. I will not be surprised if what I said about Breaking Point is true. If you agree with me, let me know. Anybody, AD, Television, Spinnernet, J-Dub, let me know, and I'll get back to you all soon. I'm Brian saying God bless. Peace out.